Hello everybody, this is part 2 of the Andis AGC 2-speed repair. Broken cable, wasn't it? So it's nice and simple. So we'll go through the repair and the process of getting it back together again. So I'm Simon and welcome to Oakside Saddlery. So we have the parts, they've all been cleaned up, nice and simple done. Nothing complicated with these, they're fairly simple to go. We had the old cable which is damaged in this part here. This is usually caused when you put it in the box, because quite often I'm sure they forget there's a cable attached to them. They leave you a lovely box, all the fittings, and then the cable flexes itself around like that and eventually it snaps, because if you keep doing that to an electric cable it will eventually break. So cut that one off. What I should do with it, I can't take this plug off because you can see there it's got a moulded end to it, so the wires and everything are all moulded in. And there's no way I can get that apart. I have looked at it before, but they're just moulded in there completely. You can't really remove them. If someone knows how to do that, I'd love to know it. It'll save us a fortune on blooming cables and things. If you do know, leave a few comments in the boxes below. See how well we get on with that. But other than that, I should cut that piece off because I could probably use that cable on something else if I need to do a repair or something else. So let's get rid of that. New cable then. UK spec. It's 3-pin plug. They often come with a little protector bit in it. 3-amp fuse, which is what it should have. This is double insulated, so there's no earth cable in there, just the 2 wires that come out of it. I'm going to leave it as it is for the time being. Oh, untangle myself from all this. Sometimes these want a bit of solder on them just to make it easier to plug in. This should be fairly easy. What I don't want is, if you can see on that one there, can you see that odd bit of frayed wire? The last thing I want is 2 of them touching, because that will cause a short and end up causing problems. We're just going to put a little bit of a twist in there, make sure it's all tidied up, twisting the other one. Now, can I remember which one goes where? If you actually look at these wires, they're actually quite clever. One of them is slightly longer, and that's because to go in it goes a little bit further. So the brown wire, which is my live wire, is going to go into this terminal. Blue wire, which is my neutral wire, is going to go into that terminal. These sometimes need to be screwed right out to their extent. It makes it easier to put the cable in. So first wire is going to go in. So I want that to go in there, and if we notice it doesn't want to go in itself. Right, just coming off camera a minute. Got to see if that's gone in there properly. I don't want a bare wire resting it on my massive 6-pack that I haven't got. And the other one's going into there. And again, make sure they go all the way in. We don't want any bare copper if I can help it. So no bare copper at all. So see where it keeps moving out every time I move it back, so it's on that camera. There we go. Again, we're going to get these in and get them in nice and tight. What I don't want is these wires coming loose or touching anywhere they shouldn't touch. What's on there? Just going to have another little quick look off camera, make sure. No, happy with that, so that's good to go. This was the base, wasn't it? So it's going to drop in that one first. You got a little slope on there. If you're never sure, you've got a slope on this side, which fits the slope on that side. Them little bits went over the top, so all we're going to do is lower it down, make sure we've got our covers all in the right place. Slide it into position. One should drop in there nicely. Circuit ball is going to sit in there nicely. So that's all held in place. This cable coma goes in one way. It's got a curve on one side and a block on the other. So it goes in that way. And I want to make sure them wires are out the way and not going to cause any problems. So that's going to sit there like that. Easy enough so far. Some screws that went in there and there, there and there. Long ones went in the back. Can tell this because these are just self-tapping, screwed into plastic, which is always a pain, and then ones have got proper fittings in them. So take our screwdriver first of all, see if we can't, there we go, see if we can't line them up with our fat fingers in there, especially with the dodgy wrist. Don't feel sorry for me, probably self-inflicted. I had it for about 3 months before I actually went to the doctors on it, and then they went, oh yeah, he's got broke a little bone. Excellent, thanks for that. It's me and my clumsy clottedness. It makes it easy to do these, doesn't it? Look, can't bend my hand. Let's get that in there. As it goes. Alright, send one's in. This side has a little blade carrier on it, and it should have a little bit of grease in there and a little bit of grease in there. So I'm just going to get a sign of a bit of that. When we say a little bit of grease, we mean a little bit. There's a little bit on there across that, and it would have a little piece that's going to sit in this carrier there. A little bit more. Get rid of that. So this had a blade carrier that sits on here. Again, it goes at an odd angle, so if we look at it, you can see the shape of it. It's going to sit on them lugs there first, and just press into place there. These is the two little small screws, which, judging by our earlier attempt at putting screws in, probably be just as good. There we go. So this is into a threaded lock nut that's built into the clipper itself, so this is not too bad. Just make sure we don't cross thread them. This one goes there. Tighten that down. Tighten that one down. So we've got our clippers there. Put that blade cable back into place. Jam it back in there. This bit here fits in there somewhere, doesn't it? So it just sits inside here. This is a part I swear at nearly all the time because it catches on little lugs on this side here. So if switches off, it's going to go back into place on there. Metal clips fell out already. Wires moved, metal clips moved. It's all good stuff. Doesn't feel right to me. That side's got the lug in. That side's got the lug in. This bit sits in here. This bit sits in here. Holy maloli. Definitely that way around. It's good that that wire's come back out. Oh, the horses are having a right old go out there today. It's the worst part of it. Without something, I bet they have a proper little jig that holds that in place. That wire's moved again. It goes. So that's all in there. So there we have them again. So make sure they're nice and tight together themselves before we start putting any screws in. That way we can tell nothing's caught up. These are these blooming great big long ones, aren't they? That one dropped in a lot further than the others. Just saying. That one, that one. This one. That one's done. One done. Shut that one again. One's done. The clip's still in place, so that's good. Last one here, that was the one that went in further, so hopefully this hasn't got broken on the thread. That feels alright. It's the only thing with plastic stuff, when they put them together, it's self-tapping. If it breaks it, or it doesn't like it, just pops it apart, and there's not a lot you can do. Sometimes a bit of super glue or something down into the post itself and fill the post up and redo it. So the cover can go back on there. We'll save that because it fell off. It's obviously not on there very well. This part on the other side then, Nice and simple. Doesn't matter which way it goes round. I know it went that way round because I can see the Loctite that they had on the pits on there. So that just sits in there. This part here is just going to sit across the top of it. When we do these up, so the blue on there was probably a Loctite or something. I'm not putting it back in. So when we do these up, what we have to do is just get them in there a little bit first, but don't over tighten it, because if I over tighten it, it twists this piece and then your blades won't line up properly. So again, this one's going to go in. Because they're sort of countersunk, it holds them in the right places. So that one on there. Just as it starts to bite, I'm going to ease it up. There we go. This one on this side. Again, just it starts to bite, it's there. I'm going to tighten that one. I'm going to tighten that one. So that's our clippers in there. The blade can sit on top of that. I haven't got the blades to show you how they fit. This one here, it's got two little lugs at the bottom that slide in either side of there. So you have to put these on there, and then you've got one lug at the top. It just pushes in place. It just covers that all over. Something else that doesn't fit properly. If you needed to change that, you could buy them carriers in there, that little bit that moves from side to side. You can buy them, and they're only cheap. You can replace them yourself. They're nice and simple. So let's have a little try then. New cable, nothing wrong with them, was there? So get this wire off of here. I don't know why I'm doing it with that wrist, because that really hurts. Unplug this. If I take that cover bit off, switching it on. So it looks good. Thing works. And it stays working. So all I've got to do is pat test them, because that's a live 240 volt live one, so we need to pat test. No transformer. If you get the later version of these clippers, they run at a different voltage. I think they run at 12 volt or something. They have a transformer on the end. That cable's a lot more expensive, but it's a bit safer still, isn't it? So, Andis AGC 2-speed clippers. Cable repair. I'll put the cover back on. UK spec. Get a pat test done, and it's sorted. So for your clipper repairs, servicing, just visit my website, which is www.oaksidesaddlery.co.uk. At the moment, clippers are £25 for a service, and repairs are £30 plus whatever the parts are. So hopefully you can get them before I put any prices up. Otherwise, leave a comment, hit that like button, and if you're really bothered, click that subscribe button. Thank you, and have a good day.